Welcome back to Session 7 review of Dragon Heist. Thank you for coming back, and let's just get right into it. We start off with the group getting their first real night's sleep. Draven's very happy about this. Not being woken up in the middle of the night makes him very happy. But during the night, Vengeance received a letter from Rainier, Neverember, containing an offer for him and Warwick to meet a man at the opera that night. They discuss it as a group during the breakfast, and they decide they should take this opportunity and go. Doc then explains to the rest of the group why he's holding on to a cat during the meal and the whole morning, and how the cat walked up to him through his window and asked him to join the Emerald Enclave. They all decided to join Doc to meet with the Emerald Enclave, and this is where I started seeing certain things emerge. The different kinds of role players. So we have many different people at this table or screen, whatever you want to call it. We have someone who doesn't talk, they just type. We have someone who's always speaking in character, and a bunch in between those two. And this is where I kind of feel good about myself, where how their role play has not made them feel isolated or make them feel like they had to do it a certain way. I'll go over them kind of quickly in my head. We have Vengeance, who talks in voice all the time. And we have Warwick, Draven, who use pretty much their own voices when they speak as their character. We have Z2, who uses chat. And we have Ismay, who I think uses a mixture of both of them. Her own voice, or all three of them, uses her own voice, a character voice, and types quite often. And so those are all the ones I usually even see at a table or on a virtual tabletop. But a weird one that I actually haven't realized that we do have at the table. I played 3 campaigns with this player, Doc, and I never realized this, but he always role plays in the third person. There's nothing wrong with that, and I just never really seen it till this session, or it never clicked to me till this session. And it's just cool how they're through 6 different people. There's like 5 different ways that these people all role play as their own characters, and everyone kind of embraces it, and they all enjoy it, and it's all done differently. Doc, while he's sitting there speaking with Emerald Enclave, he learns of farms being attacked at the Undercliff, an area east of Waterdeep, by some scarecrows, and they ask him to take care of it. He agrees, and he decides to join them. With Doc now with the Enclave, they went to the new home, Trollkeep Manor, to find a couple residents hanging outside the door. First is Rashal, the page turner. And Ismay was all googly eyes over him, wooing over him and stuff. And Page Turner pretty much ignored her. And because he was there to deliver scrolls to Doc that he ordered the night before. And she tried to say bye, but ended up stumbling over her words and ended up looking like kind of a weirdo. Some of the troubles with playing virtually comes with issues like people talking over other people, and other little tiny small hangups like the slow decision making that they could have, and sometimes through role playing it makes it difficult to kind of gauge what other players at the table want to decide, and I kind of saw that happening in this little area here for a little bit. They did get over it eventually, and it doesn't happen every session, but this might as well bring it up because I haven't brought it up yet. But something that I've noticed while on virtual tabletop, and I'm sure Zoom meetings and all that's the same. The second person waiting behind Page Turner was Savar. She's a leader of the Order of the Gauntlet, another faction. And while discussing things with her, this is where like D&D becomes kind of real. So this is where D&D becomes kind of a cool game. So we're sitting here playing make-believe, right? And it's all ridiculousness. We have funny voices. We're in this fake place and doing crazy things, fighting dragons, whatever, right? But then there's moments like this where we get pulled into the world that we're in, or the characters that we're playing, and we start feeling what our characters are feeling. And then those characters start asking real questions. So like this group is all about destroying evil. And Warwick is struggling with a past of doing, in his eyes, evil things. And then he starts hitting me like with real life hard questions as we're playing this make-believe game, because that's what his character would be asking these people. Talking about destroying evil and they're good, and he's like, well, what about me? What qualifies as good? What qualifies as bad? Where am I standing? And so these questions about morality, evil and good, and if evil could change in this discussion, started becoming real hard. But at the same time, doing this in real life, things can get heated, people can get angry, can get sad, can get, all kinds of things. So kind of like in this moment, even though it was hard to kind of go over things and discuss these kind of more, deeper issues with fake characters, it's kind of easier than in real life too. But that being said, easier doesn't mean it was easy. So they're starting to see this NPC kind of like a holier than thou person on the street praising her god, and I didn't want that for her. She's following a god and follows these orders for her own reasons. Why, I don't know. If they ask, we'll get into that and roll into her backstory. But I don't want her to be this like 2D character. I want her to live. So I had to sit and think as I'm trying to fill the void of silence as he's asking these questions. So I try to spin the convo into looking the way we wipe out evil is like what we see in the moment. If you're doing evil things and you're evil, then I go there because my God said there's evil happening there. Your past, you do what you need to do to atone for it. And I've heard and seen that you guys are strong, and you've went out and have started cleaning the city of evil now, and you're part of that, right? And so if you're doing that now, I can see you as good as right now. If people can change and can show different colors, they can become evil. So, and I think that kind of helped the situation. Eventually she asked if they would love for them to join, and I didn't notice this, and I don't know if anyone noticed it until I actually started writing this review. And I realized Warwick looked at Draven and asked him, "Am I evil?" And I thought that was a bit touching, and I rewarded them both with inspiration after the fact, because it actually was a really cool moment. These characters are not on the best of terms, but even though that Warwick took the chance to take what he thought to be the goodest person, even though they argue all the time, and have him, and also know that he's going to give him the most real answer and ask him the tough question. And Draven, what I thought, responded with the correct answer, and I think helped the situation, as well as helped those two PCs grow together and become closer in the world, in this game. So I thought that was really cool to grow. So 3 of them actually joined the group of the Order of the Gauntlet: Z2, Draven, and Warwick. And they took the quest from him, and they headed out to a bar in the Field Ward, where they met a short-tempered, foul-mouthed halfling woman named Laura Roundabout. In a rundown bar, she explained to him about how thugs have tried to get her to pay a protection fee, but she said no, and eventually broke one of their nose with her pan. And so she was worried that they're going to come back and try to do something extra. So she got in contact with the Order of the Gauntlet, and they sent the party here. So the party spread it out and waited for the thugs to show up, and they did, and they made quick work of them and left one alive for them to for him to go back to the Zents and let them know that Laura's bar was under the protection of the Order of the Gauntlet. From there, they decided to go to the Undercliff to deal with the scarecrows and help out the farms over there. They get to a crossroad where there's a farm to the left, farm to the right. They decide to split the party. Two of them fly. One of them's on the Eagle to the farther down one, and the rest on foot goes and checks the winery that's close to see if any of these farms are being affected by the scarecrow. They meet a woman who's very standoffish. She's a Karen, and is pretty much one of my favorite roleplay moments. It was incredible, from me, from Doc, from all the four people there. Hijinks ensued. They went from trying to intimidate her, using spells on her, to running her down, to taking a immovable rod and setting it on her so she couldn't move. And eventually they got the Karen to explain to them that the ring that she had was controlling the scarecrows, and she was only having it attack the farm down the road because she was losing clientele to it, and she wanted to bring her customers back. The group eventually took her to the guards so that she could be arrested, and then they started heading back into Waterdeep. Now, did the role play of this go a little bit too far? It might have. It got Doc pretty riled up. He was saying things about how I want to jump over the bar and stab her. DM, no, that's Jones, the player, not Doc, the character. But I really hate her and I want her gone. And for about probably 10-15 minutes after the game, he would not stop complaining about how terrible that woman was, and how he would really like her never to come back. I mean, I didn't really like playing her either. I might have liked playing her a little bit. It's fun to annoy Jones. But, maybe that went a little bit too far, but it was fun. I think everyone kind of enjoyed it, even though she was a fucking annoying character. Another thing that I saw, they're using their magic items that they bought in fun and unique ways. They're showing that they're capable of realizing that combats or encounters can be finished without combat, and that's fun. This was by far the longest game session that we had, and we ended it there, but we discussed about these faction missions that they were accepting. And I don't think they know what it's called, but I'm planning on doing kind of like a West March style game for these missions. I mean, I don't even know if you can call it a West March style game because, I don't know. I'll eventually I'll do a video this week about it, kind of explain what a West March style game is. I might even be wrong by calling this, but at least I'll get another video out of it. But anyways, so what we'll end up doing is going on to Discord and they can accept faction quests there, and then we can do them through Discord. And if there's like any kind of combat or anything like that, we could hop into the virtual tabletop if needed, and go from there. That way they can have something to do during the downtime, during the week or so, if they choose to. It's not something that they need to do. It's all optional. But they can get stuff out of it. They can get renown, which leads to magical weapons or tools or things, and actually access to other heroes in the city eventually. So they may do it, some may not, and then they'll realize, oh, maybe I should do it because they're getting cool shit. So we'll see. So that's it. That's where the gang left it, and hopefully next week they'll have a name because they're going to be doing something next week, which I won't spill the beans on now. But they'll have a name for us to call instead of the Misfits. But that's where they left off. Let me know if you guys liked it. Hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with your buddies. And down below, comment and let me know what you thought. And like always, have a great day.